Can white people wear dreads?
My eyes! My eyes!
Man, what the fuck, man?
Oh! Ew! Dude! What the fuck?
Let's talk about it. For those of you who don't know, there has been a heated discussion lately about whether or not white people can or should wear dreadlocks. It all started when a Twitter user, Misty Blushes, quote tweeted another user, Bananajuju, saying,
So, am I the only one uncomfortable with a white model rocking dreads like?
the post would gain a lot of traction and people quickly jumped into the conversation. After receiving the initial backlash, Misty would go on to clarify her perspective on the matter.
Firstly, I see a lot of comments looking at my post and viewing it as an attack. I didn't mean it as one, but to be honest, I'm not apologizing for voicing my concerns either. I see a lot of people saying that it's just hair. I'm not surprised, but I'm equally disappointed. I think it's important to remember that us Black people were told that our hairstyles were dirty, or ugly, or unprofessional for centuries. The ones claiming that it's Scandinavian Vikings is honestly a very weak argument, in my opinion. There is no actual concrete proof of deadlocks specifically in their hair culture, but we have plenty of proof of dreadlocks being in ours. Personally, I feel strongly about the hair because it isn't just hair. There's culture and history behind it. Me voicing concern shouldn't be seen as an all-out war. NGL, a lot of stuff on her page is SUS, but the original post was just an opinion. I'm not pushing an agenda or telling you you're stupid or wrong. I never sent hate. I didn't even have a huge following to do that anyway. I've dealt with a rough relationship to my hair in real life, in this community, even something as simple as getting a commission done. Something small to you isn't as minimum to someone else. I obviously can't control what others do, but I just want others to show some empathy. Anyways, I'm not great at voicing myself, but to all the racists in my comments, F you, and to everyone else, chill.
After reading her explanation, I get where she's coming from. I mean, everyone's entitled to have their own opinion. But I have questions about her take on the history of dreadlocks, and I just want to unpack that a bit. Do white people really have no historical connections to dreadlocks? Spoilers, they do, but we'll get into that eventually. First, let's define what dreadlocks are and where they came from. Dreadlocks, also known as dreads or locks, are rope-like strands of matted or knotted hair. They can form naturally in curly hair or be created using techniques like twisting, backcombing, or crochet. The term dreadlocks has several possible origins. One popular explanation traces it to Jamaica Creole, where dread refers to the member of the Rastafarian movement, someone who wears their hair in lock out of reverence or dread of God. Another theory dates back to the transatlantic slave trade. After months in filthy, cramped conditions aboard slave ships, African people would disembark with matted hair, which white people described as dreadful, hence dreadlocks. According to the Encyclopedia of Hair, A Cultural History by Victoria Sharrow, dreadlocks have an ancient roots across many cultures. In ancient Egypt, both real and wig-lock styles appeared in carvings and statues. Maria Dengongoria also notes that people in the Sahara Desert wore braided or locked hair as far as back as 3000 BCE. Followers of various Abrahamic religions have also worn locked hair, and the style has been documented among ethnic groups throughout East, Central, West, and South Africa. But here's where it gets interesting. Dreadlock-like hairstyles also appeared in ancient Europe. The Minoan civilization, centered in Crete, modern-day Greece, dates back to 1600 and 1500 BCE. Frescoes from the islands of Thera, now Santorini, depict individuals with long matted or braided hair. Some argue these were dreadlocks, while others call them tresses. Tresses, according to Collins Dictionary, can mean long braided, plaits, or curls. So it's possible these hairstyles were similar to modern dreadlocks. The Minoans were of European ancestry, and their art often portrayed women with pale or white skin. So yes, it's reasonable to say that white people may have historically worn dread-like hairstyles. So, do white people have historical claims to dreads? Yes. There is evidence that similar hairstyles have appeared in ancient European civilizations, meaning dreadlocks aren't exclusively African in origin. Some may say, sure, maybe dreadlocks aren't exclusively African in origin, but dreadlocks weren't really a popular hairstyle in America until Black people popularized them. And to that, I would say, yeah, you're right. Wait, no one made that argument?
What? What are you talking about?
But anywho,
The modern mainstream popularity of dreadlocks can largely be traced back to Bob Marley, the iconic Jamaican singer who, in the 1970s, made the hairstyle a global symbol of counterculture, freedom, and resistance. As reggae music spread, so did Marley's message, condemning the legacy of slavery and calling for liberation. His locks weren't just a hairstyle, they were a symbol. That symbolism carried forward as Black artists, authors, and celebrities continued to wear dreads proudly, such as
Lauryn Hill, Lil Wayne, T-Pain, Snoop Dogg, J. Cole, Wiz Khalifa, Chief Keef, Lil Jon, Alice Walker, Toni Morrison, Jean-Michel Basquiat, and Whoopi Goldberg, to name a few.
Now that I've laid all that out, given the cultural significance of dreadlocks in America, particularly how they become a symbol of resistance through figures like Bob Marley, can white people ethically wear dreadlocks considering they haven't been an oppressed class in the US? To that, I asked, can Black women wear ponytails? The ponytail traces back to ancient Greece, depicting in frescoes and sculptures dating from 2000 to 1500 BCE. What about shag cuts? The shag hairstyle became trendy in the 1970s and was created by a British hairstylist, Paul McGregor, a white man. What about Hollywood waves? This style came from 19th century France, credited to Marcel Grado, who developed the hot tone curling technique. How about half up and half down styles? Ancient Greeks and Romans wore them long before it became popularized again in the 50s and later by the Spice Girls in the 90s. Now here's the pressing question. If we're going to gatekeep hairstyles by ethnic or cultural origin, should Black women be banned from wearing these hairstyles?
Let me think about that for a second.
what do you think? No.
Obviously not. And that's the point. Hair is universal. Styles evolve, travel, and are reinterpreted across cultures and generations. Gatekeeping hairstyles based on race is not only limiting, it's historically inaccurate. If we were to take this idea to its logical extreme, Black women wouldn't be able to wear buns because buns originated in ancient China. So, yes, space buns would be off limits, literally off the table. You see how unserious this conversation is? I mean, at the end of the day, this kind of gatekeeping doesn't create cultural respect, it creates unnecessary division. Hairstyles transcend race. They've always done so, and they always will.